We continue our reflection on the second book of the Old Testament, the book of Exodus. So we are now in the second week of our reflection. Medyo fast forward po ang ating nakikita. So we heard today's first reading how Moses became angry when he saw, upon coming down from Mount Horeb or Mount Sinai, what was happening to the community that God just saved from slavery, the community that made a covenant with Him. And the first commandment of the 10, thou shalt not have strange God before me. And here we are, they were worshiping after having been liberated by this great God. They exchanged him with a golden calf. And so Moses was angry. So they broke the covenant, and he broke the two tablets where the 10 Commandments were written back and front at the foot of the mountain. So after that, he realized how great was the sin of his people. And so he said, Lord, even me, strike me out if you do not forgive them. So Moses became an intercessor, pleaded on behalf of the people who sinned against God. And this prayer of intercession will go through history, through the judges, through kings, through prophets. This prayer of intercession, it reaches its climax in the person of Jesus once he's crucified at Mount Calvary. Once his side was pierced with a lance, flowed divine love that flowed into the hearts of people. So this is what we should be grateful to the Lord. His generous, merciful love. His love endures forever. So we'll continue to reflect more about the generosity of God in the Old Testament, how He was always faithful, and how He is always faithful to His promises to His people. And this is what the Gospel for today reminds us. Two parables about little things which we have heard several times already in these past 2 weeks, how Jesus used simple language, simple things that people could easily understand, and yet there was some hidden power that was at work. Just like in a mustard seed, very small, tiniest among the seeds, and yet once it grows into a shrub where birds of the air can build their nests and take shelter from what was very small. Same thing with the leaven or yeast. You know, you have just water, flour, and yet once you put little yeast, it becomes a tasty bread. It becomes big. So there are many things in life that we see through the power of God working in our lives, things that will grow. For instance, today as we honor Saint Ignatius of Loyola, who died around 1556, 2 decades after Magellan came to the Philippines, 1521. You know, in 1540, he was able to organize some priests to work for the kingdom in a special way by ministering again to those who are lost, to the poor. God has special love for the poor. You know, when he died 1556, he had more than 1,000 priests who bonded together in about 20 communities. So it's the power of God working in people's lives. So God is also working in your life, in my life, in our life, to make His kingdom come. Let us be contented with small things, like being thoughtful, being helpful, being forgiving, greeting people in simple ways to make them happy, to color their day in spite perhaps of a crazy weather. We can do many things to transform the world. Simple things can be a channel by which we manifest, we proclaim God's presence, God's love in the world today. Amen.